You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 38. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Before we bring on today's guest, we got something to talk about, good people. We back for another edition of Support You on Sunday, all right? Shout out to Butterfly Training. I recently had a chance to support that business, the meal prep service. Got a chance to order some delicious, nutritious meals at an unbeatable price. Smoked chicken, smoked turkey with veggies. Let me just tell you, you don't have to eat bland food to stay in shape and to stay healthy. You know I'm big on health is wealth, and I know a lot of us are busy these days and we don't have the time to necessarily cook and meal prep. And I'm talking about myself, so hey, instead of going to the vending machine or eating fast food, order you some meal prep. Get you a meal prep service. Why not? Health is wealth. Eat clean, train dirty. Gotta eat to live and not the other way around, you know? But nah, for real, shout out to Will Evans over at Butterfly Training. He doing some great things with the meal prep service. People like myself who are always on the go, definitely gonna benefit from this meal prep service. So hit him up on Facebook. All right, that's all we gotta talk about, good people. On with today's show. Today's guest, she is the founder and owner of Ashley N. Jackson, LLC. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure you all will be inspired by her story. Let's give a warm Gumptown round of applause for Ashley N. Jackson. Ashley, how's it going?
It's going good, Doug. How are you?
All is well on my end. All is well. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me a few minutes. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your platform. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, we're here to talk about Ashley N. Jackson, LLC. But before we go there, let's get to know the woman behind the brand. What's your story?
Oh, my story. I don't think we have enough time on this podcast today to talk about my full story, but I will give you a brief background. I'm originally born and raised in Montgomery. I grew up in Millbrook. Went to um, junior high and high school in Montgomery with the Brubaker, Jeff Davis. During my high school days, everybody had their own issues, but mine stemmed from having, daddy issues. And I took that out a lot on my peers and, people I went to high school with. And that caused me to get suspended, fight a lot. I think if anybody kind of looked at me side-eyed in the hallway, I was probably fighting them at that moment. So it caused me to get suspended a lot and lose my credit. So in 2006, the year I was supposed to graduate from Jeff Davis, I actually dropped out and decided to get my GED and go to the Army. Little did I know, I thought the Army was the worst decision of my entire life. But looking back now in my adult life, I see it was the best decision I could have made for myself. And God just set it up so perfectly for me to move on from my military career into from the Army into my purpose, which is teaching women how to start businesses. Women being women veterans at that.
Powerful story, and I appreciate the vulnerability. And I know you just mentioned you served in the Army. Thank you for your service. Really appreciate you. And so yeah, you said at first you thought it was the worst decision you ever made, but in hindsight, it was the best decision. What was it about that experience that ended up making it a great decision?
Well, when I first got off the bus, so me, I was a little angry kid, a little angry little girl. So when you get out the bus at basic training, they're all in your face and fussing, they're hollering. I'm like, what is it? Who? It was a very humbling experience. Let me say that at first. And in my childhood life, I took a lot of my frustrations out too on my mom. But when I got to basic training, the smell of your house when you come in from school, the smell of your mom cooking on the stove, all those things are stripped away from me. And I was looking at it as a negative experience, like, I miss my mom. It was a very self-reflective time in my teenage life that carried on to my adult life to make me appreciate, my mom, my surroundings, just the little simple things in life on the personal side. But on the professional side, going into the military taught me how to be disciplined, taught me how to be, have ethics and morals and, as it relates to, professional wise, instilling that good work ethic in me and keeping me grounded.
Wow. That's powerful. And I never served in the military, but everyone that I know who served like yourself, that's one thing they do say when you go to basic training, you in for a rude awakening.
Yes, yeah, correct.
Wow. No, no, that's a very powerful story. And again, appreciate the transparency. So let's pivot over into Ashley and Jackson LLC. Let's talk about what you got going on over there, products and services wise.
Awesome. Well, I love the word that you use, pivot, because that's what I had to do in my life, coming from, my attitude, doing a 360 and pivoting and going into a different direction.
Mhm.
And that's what Ashley and Jackson serves as. It serves as a place where veteran women can come to pivot. If they're on a 9 to 5 job, or if they're stuck with a business idea, they can come to me for me to help them pivot in a new direction, go a different route to kind of figure out what they actually want to do in life. So I started Ashley and Jackson LLC to help female veteran business owners start e-business in confidence. Because in the military, we're always taught who, what, when, where, why, how. They always give you the roadmap to finish or start a project or a mission. But being an entrepreneur, I had to figure those things out myself. So I know a lot of my female veterans or women in general who have a roadmap, as in corporate America as well. One, for me, my mindset, starting my business, I know other women will struggle with the same thing that have been in the military. So long story short, that's why Ashley and Jackson was created, to kind of give my women veterans something that I didn't get. I had to learn. So just take the guesswork out of it for them, to give them the keys to success for entrepreneurship.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. That's good stuff. Good stuff. So pretty much being in the military sounds like those just being a service or just serving the country, those skills have been transferable in your business serving women veterans.
Yes, it definitely has. I served as a human resources sergeant and a unit admin. So, admin work comes easily to me. That was in my first business. I started Jan Resources. That kind of got me into that. But when women started coming to me asking me how to start a business and how to go about creating a virtual assistant business, this is what led me into Ashley and Jackson. And I was like, what better way to serve those who help serve me and help, bring me along the ranks, than to give back and teach them how to start businesses and use their skills they learned in the military and transfer them over to a business.
Nice, nice. And that's powerful. That's some very powerful stuff. So let's move on to the next portion of the podcast. Whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform, I like to cover three things. I like to talk about the aha moment, action, and audacity. Let's talk about your aha moment. What sparked the idea to turn your love for HR and admin work into a business?
So, funny story. One night, me and my mom, she is in government and design, and she's not really tech savvy at all. So
Mhm.
she used to call me in the middle of the night. Hey, I need an invoice for tomorrow, 8 a.m. It used to aggravate me like to no end. But I did the invoice in maybe like 5 to 10 minutes flat, correct, no errors. Just, it was nothing to me to do that.
Mhm.
And I think I was frustrated this particular night. And I was like, you know what? You should be paying me to help you do this. Like, you waking me up in the middle of the night. And she's like, no, I birthed you, so I think other people should pay you. I was
Wow.
like, hey, you have a point. So that night, the light bulb aha moment came, and I was like, you know what? I started Googling virtual assistant. I didn't realize there was a whole industry of people doing this, like back, in 2006, 2007 era. And they were making a good, bit of money doing it from home, which was what I was wanting to do at that time, because I had just had my son in 2017. So I was looking for something that I can do from home. So the aha moment came that night. I started Googling. I think 3 days after that, I was jumping in my inboxes on Facebook with my business friends. And I think I signed my first client before I actually had my LLC and EIN finished.
Wow. Talking about not wasting any time, you got right to it. And you pretty much just
Wow.
answered my next question. I was going to ask about action. How long did it take you after the aha moment to actually get started? It took you 3 days and you hit the ground running. So you already knew what you wanted to do. Like this wasn't a thing you had to don't get me wrong, if you're religious, this wasn't something you had to pray and meditate over. You knew, hey, this is something I can really be good at and make a
Right.
business out of.
Right, because it came so naturally to me. So I was like, why not use my skills? And I think the when I jumped in inboxes, I pitched my services, and of course, being in Montgomery, I pitched them to my Montgomery people, and no one had really, heard of virtual assistants. So I was saying, what is that? What do you do? So I think my first client, I did like social media management, just posting on their social media each day for a fraction of the price until I kind of built my clientele up. But it came natural to me. It comes natural to me. I can like dream of admin in my sleep. And I really think that's my passion, just helping female entrepreneurs get to the next level.
Wow, that's amazing. And like, even just going back, even the part about you getting out there and starting before you had a logo, EIN number, that's so impactful and that's so powerful, because a lot of times we have ideas and we just don't execute because we're always waiting for the right time. And you just said, hey, it's something I can do. I can do it in my sleep. You went after it. So I just want to commend you for not wasting too much time overthinking, for real.
Thank you. And overthinking is a thing. I think I did that with my second business, but the first one, I jumped right out there. Like I said, I think, no lie, I think my mom was fussing at me. She's like, girl, you need to get your LLC, your EIN, do things the right way. I was like, I'm trying, but I've already jumped in these inboxes. They want my services. So I think my LLC maybe came a week after that, but yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
For those city officials who are listening, I promise you my LLC came soon after.
Oh, it's all good. Trust me, you got started. Like, you took an idea and did something with it. That's a big deal. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. All that LLC, EIN logo, that stuff is important, but getting started, like, and it's really that a lot of times we get, and it's something else. A lot of times we get motion confused with action. Like, and what I mean is motion, we're planning, we're thinking, we're strategizing. The thing is, we get no results when we're doing all that planning. Oh, I'm gonna do this. This logo gonna look like this. You actually put some action behind that thought. So that's what it all comes down to. You get results when you put into action. So
that's
made
true.
it happen.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was fun, but it's like you said, it's the mindset shift. I think that it was for me. Like, I knew I had to do it because I had my degrees, I had a bachelor, I had associate, I worked on my master's, but going in from the military to the corporate world, I couldn't find a job that was paying me what I thought I should be paid. So it was like do or die. Like, okay, you gonna do this, or it's no plan B, basically.
Good stuff. So that leads me into my last portion, audacity. It takes courage and audacity to step out there and start your own. Who or what gave you the audacity to step out there?
Well, I like to say I believe in God. I believe in the power and the strength that He gives me, along with Him and my mom, because she was an entrepreneur as well. Seeing her have the audacity to step out and go and network and meet people and figure out what they did and make connections, that gave me the audacity and courage to actually step into entrepreneurship.
And that's powerful. And that's a teaching moment right there. Like, kids be paying attention to their parents. So hats off to your mom for creating that mindset and writing out the blueprint for you. That's good stuff.
She did. She laid it all the way out. Shout out to my mom, CC.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's good stuff. So I know you've done great things, and great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are your short-term and long-term goals for the business?
My short-term goals for the business, I have a 12-week cohort that I do, like a business intensive, teaching females how to start businesses. So my short-term goal is to have 25 women signed up for that course by June, the middle of June, and to help them excel in their business desires. And by the end of my cohort, hopefully they will be able to push out their business or have their business plan and vision laid out to help them excel in the next season of their life. My long-term goal, since I started my business in 2017, I always wanted to help single moms because single mom, I have a 12-year-old daughter. I always found an issue, even in the military, kids get sick, you got to call out. And sometimes moms, no shade to the dads, but sometimes moms always bear the weight of, taking off of work and doing things of that nature. So my long-term goal is to have a brick and mortar business that I can house and teach women how to be virtual assistants, and have it where I can have a full service daycare on the bottom of the floor. They can bring the kids to work, things of that nature. Just want to give back to the single moms.
Wow, that's some great stuff. And those are very specific goals. And the fact that you have those mapped out like that, I have no doubt they'll come to fruition. Good
Hey,
stuff.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes, ma'am. So so tell me, what is it like waking up every morning, working for yourself, being a full-time entrepreneur? And the reason I asked that question, I still working 9 to 5 for now, but I'm just curious, like, is it, is it, is it a feeling of freedom, anxiety? Like, what is it like being a full-time entrepreneur?
It's both of those words. It's freedom, anxiety.
Mm,
It's sometimes pressure. It's sometimes happy thoughts. It's all those things in one because being an entrepreneur, like I said before, you have a roadmap that you created. But when you were in a 9 to 5, you work for someone else. They've already laid out the roadmap for you. So all you got
right.
to do is follow their plan.
Mhm.
And I can't lie to you. I tried to go into a 9 to 5 after pursuing entrepreneurship, and I just couldn't do it. I got anxiety when I pulled up in the parking lot. I sat there for hours, twiddling my thumbs because I knew that I couldn't be, you know, put in a box of 9 to 5 because I want freedom. I want to be able to, pick my kids up from school and go to their PTA meetings and go on their field trips. So I know in order for me to create the atmosphere for myself and my kids, I have to no doubt make my business work. So I wake up every morning and I do the things I need to do to make Jam Resources run, Ashley and Jackson run, and also create that work-life balance with my family.
And there's no shame in what you said about not wanting to do the 9 to 5 thing after being an entrepreneur. And
Mm-hmm.
you had enough self-awareness to know, hey, this ain't for me. Because
Right.
the thing is, had you kept trying to go down that 9 to 5 path that wasn't for you, that would have led to stress. And you don't know, and stress leads to strokes, heart attacks, and
Yes. It's
I
very stressful. And I even
right,
went to my supervisor at the time. I was like, hey, I don't even think this job requires me to be in the office for 8 hours. Like I
right.
was that bold to say, hey, I don't even think a person needs to sit in this chair for 8 hours to do this work. This work can be done from home.
Mhm.
As an out to, I was sitting there basically taking their money. And I told my supervisor, hey, I'm not doing this job for 8 hours, 8 hours a day. There's no way. And I, being transparent as I am, I said, hey, with that being said, I have to turn my 2 week notice in because I couldn't do it. It did bring me a lot of anxiety, stress, and I was like, it's not worth it. Just to have, for me, in my opinion, it was a steady income. Sometimes entrepreneurship is up and down. One month you make, X, Y, and Z. The next month you may make X. It's just the way the ball rolls sometimes. But having that 9 to 5 did create a sense of consistency for me and income. But once I left that job, I was like, Ashley, you probably won't do 9 to 5 ever again. So wake up every morning, do your business, and make your business work for you.
There it is. Nothing else needs to be said about that. That's some great stuff. For real. That's some powerful stuff. So as we come to the end of the podcast, I want to ask the $1 million question because when I started this platform, I started it because I wanted to shed light on the greatness from Montgomery or people who've lived in Montgomery for a significant portion of their life. You being from Montgomery, a hometown hero, I want to ask you, what makes you proud to be from Montgomery?
What makes me proud to be from Montgomery is the way we all in the business professional world can come together and teach each other what we know. I'm in a lot of networks. I do a lot of stuff in the community. I'm part of the Torchbearers class 13, the best class ever right now. So I'm excited to network and talk to like-minded professionals because in some worlds, people don't know about virtual assistants. They don't know about business coaching. And to learn from individuals in my age group, I'm a millennial. So to see that we're out here doing great things in Montgomery really inspires me to move to the next level and pull those people behind me that have made it there and want to get there up as well.
Wow, that's powerful. And talking to a fellow millennium as well. So I definitely I agree with everything you said, just in terms of what we have here as it's just like a melting pot of entrepreneurship. And I think it's great that you stayed home and started your businesses and you didn't go off to a bigger city to get started. Did it ever cross your mind to leave the city to get started, or did you always want to start in Montgomery?
It didn't. I wanted to start in Montgomery. My business is virtual, so I do serve clients like in Orlando, different parts of the world. But I saw my mom do it in Montgomery, so I was like, why not? I mean, the connection she's made, the connection she continue to make are here in Montgomery. There's some heavy hitters in Montgomery, some great business owners that we can learn from, community leaders. So, why not Montgomery?
Mm, I love it. That's great. Good stuff. So Ashley, how can the people connect with you? What are your social media handles? Facebook and IG?
Yeah, so my social media handle, Instagram, is the Ashley N. Jackson. Also, I want to plug in my virtual assistant business, which is at Jam Resources LLC with 2 M's. And it's the same on Facebook as well. The Ashley N. Jackson and Jam Resources LLC.
Sounds good. And of course, I'll put all of the information in the description of the episode. Hey, Ashley, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Doug. Much success in your podcast. And I can't wait to listen to the rest of the episodes because I know you're going to have great things coming out.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. We gone, but before we leave, remember, be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.